Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff. Hey guys, welcome back to Fandom Family Chats. I'm Maureen.
I'm Jeanette.
And we are, as promised, bringing you our mid-season review of Chicago, of the One Chicago universe. And I was starting to think we weren't going to have one. So I was surprised when you said it was, because I don't watch them live. And truth be told, now that we aren't doing recaps, I might have gotten a little bit behind on the episodes. So I was unaware that they had their mid-season break. So thankfully, Jeanette is on top of things in our podcasting world.
This is the only show that I will watch every week without fail, regardless.
And it's the first one, isn't it, to have a mid-season?
Yeah, but these started earlier than them. So it's possible that the others won't have
I don't think they will.
break. So we'll see. I just wonder if sometime this month, because I'm surprised they're not all taking breaks just because of March Madness being on TV and stuff. But that may push some of them back. Because I feel like that's normally why there's a break in March, because there's so much basketball on TV and stuff. So
but I think that because a lot of them, I think that's the solution of we won't take this break, we'll power through, we'll start in February, March. Because Grey's Anatomy hasn't even come back on yet, has it? Is it this week?
No, you
14.
understand.
Oh, yeah. Thursday.
Oh, gosh, okay. Well, that's good.
But I was way off on Will Trent. So maybe I have the dates wrong.
No, I think you're right. I think they are coming back. So
that one and 911. So Grey's Anatomy and 911, OG 911 comes back
and
this
Station
week.
19. So yeah.
Oh yes, I forget because Station 19 is canceled this year, so I don't think I wrote it down.
Well, I'm mad about that. So that's another story for another day.
And I think that's all we have left to come on. Now remember, 911 Lone Star is not coming back until the fall. They just postponed their entire season. It's just going to pick up in the fall.
Yeah.
So that's Grey's Anatomy and Station 19 and 911 are coming back this week. So we'll get those reviews to you, the season premiere reviews to you next week. And after that, it's just Bridgerton and The Bear, which, oh my gosh, I hope that comes back in June so much. And I think Fire Country and Will Trent, I think will be done in May. Yeah. So those are all coming up for you. I think most of them are going to be season finales besides the premiere. So those are coming up. And don't forget, we are starting some of our book fandoms. We're starting with ACOTAR, which you will get either this week or next week. So that's coming. We're really excited about that series and know that we are going to be talking about the whole ACOTAR series, but this first one is just going to be the first book because I have questions and Jeanette thinks she has answers. So we're going to do that. But today we are talking Chicago. And one thing I really love about this universe is that they have appeared to listen to our genius and our brilliance in all of their shows so far this season.
They really have.
And I appreciate being recognized.
I do. Yeah, it's actually kind of weird that we go back to our season premiere episode we did. We had all these complaints of, I need all our hopes and dreams for the season. I mean, that's come true. I'm like, cool. You're welcome, Dick Wolf, that we gave you that information and let you know what you needed to do because they did it. And it's good, really good.
And I understand, obviously we're joking for the most part. We understand that they already filmed those, but I think it's always so funny to me because it tells you that we actually know what qualifies as quality. We at FFC understand what's going to be good and what's going to be great. And we tend to jump on those pretty early. And so I think we'll start with Med. Med, I think, was our biggest struggle last year. I did not enjoy Med by the end of the season last year because it was just where's my relationships? I want to connect with these characters. I've got nothing. This opening season, I remember we talked about, where's Dr. Cuevas? Where is she? She appeared. Well, it was for one episode, but she appeared back in an episode.
She did. Yeah.
Give her that. It's so much more relational this season so far.
And it's not like those relationships it's taken away from anything. We're still managing to get plenty of patient care and the back drama of the hospital workings. I mean, we're able to do it all in a nice little neat way. How they did it in the beginning of Med.
Yes.
And so I'm so glad that we've come back to this. This season, I am way more excited than I have been probably the last few seasons of Med, if I'm being honest. So since
I agree with that.
because that's where it went downhill for me.
it upticked for me for a minute, and then I was like, ah. But I was a little bit struggling with the new female doctor. What is her name? Doctor.
Yeah, Zola Ahmad. So Dr.
So at first, like obviously last season we saw the exit of Will, which had us all very concerned of the future of Med.
Yeah.
Because there seemed to be a huge exodus. And Dr. Ahmad, I was very uncertain about her at first. Like I like that she's a maverick, but the difference between her and Will, and some people are going to say, well, that's just because she's a woman. You think differently. You think men can do more. And that's not it. Will had more finesse about being a maverick. I know that's what you were going to say.
That's what I was going to say.
Because you said this to me when I was reading Fourth Wing too. Like, no,
Yeah.
that's not what it is. It's that Will was still kind to people. It wasn't that Will could still admit when he was wrong. But Dr. Ahmad is kind of like, he did, not always, but he was better about it. Again, it was just like 3 episodes of hers though that I got. I was like,
Yeah.
come on now. Like with the whole social media thing. And I didn't like how she handled that. Will, I think, still cared for the hospital. He cared more for patient care, but he still cared about the doctors in the hospital. And Dr. Ahmad at first didn't seem to care about anybody but what she herself thought was right. Everyone else be damned. That's what it felt like at first.
Yeah.
So she got better, I felt.
I feel like we're forgetting a little bit of how early Will was, because I
I
think
don't remember
early
any of that.
Will was very much like Dr. Ahmad. Like, I'm obsessed with her character simply because I feel like they've given Will back to me in some sort of form. Like, granted, he's not, he's not Nick Gelfus, okay, but like, there's still this aura about her that just makes me like, because that was not just, I mean, we know I joke that, obviously I had a crush on Will and all this, and so that was obviously important, but like, it was also his character that I just really connected to. I really cared for how he felt about his patients and how he was willing to go above and beyond, system be damned, like, didn't care kind of thing. And she does the same thing. And so I'm here for it. Now, I agree that she's got to figure out how to calm this down so that she can actually do good with it, rather than she loses her job, you're not gonna be able to do good with it.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
I agree that she's got some learning to do there. But I mean, her relationship with Crockett, I think he's gonna help her figure that out. And I don't know. I think there's a romance brewing. Like,
I hope so.
I really do. I think
his last romance was weird.
Yeah, although now I can't stop thinking about his last romance. Now that I've watched Suits, I feel like if I was to rewatch this, I would end up liking her just because I'm like, oh, that's Donna.
I don't
Donna
know, man.
Can do no wrong. Like, I don't know. It would be really, I'd love to go back and try it again and see if I feel any differently. But no, I think there's something there. I mean, other people, I've seen people online not like, no, he's like her superior. I'm like, so is everybody when they work in the hospital like this. Like, it's fine. They're both adults.
It's
like,
not the same in medical world as is in like a school.
Yeah.
You're not I get there's
an
abuse of power, but that's not relevant here. They're doctors who live at the hospital.
If she was like a med student or like an intern, like to where he actually had control over her job, her future.
She is a resident, so
she's a resident, but I don't think she directly reports to him. I think she probably directly reports to, she's in the ER, so I bet she reports to Dean. So I bet it's okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, because why do I want to call him Conrad all of a sudden?
Oh, you're missing Conrad. Crockett,
geez. Because I think Crockett was just filling in for Dean while Dean was recovering when we first met Dr. Ahmad.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's in my head.
If she was a surgical resident, then she would probably directly report to him. But because she's an ER.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah. So I think it's okay.
I will say though that she did improve. Like there's a one scene where she's waiting outside Dean's office to talk to him. I outright laughed at how she handled that situation. It made me laugh. But then there's also like Dr. Ripley. I didn't like a lot of stuff that he did. He's a maverick, but for the same reason I didn't like Dr. Ahmad, I was mad at Dr. Ripley because, dude, you cannot do that. You have to have some level of capacity of care for the doctors around you in the hospital you work for. You have to protect them, or you're not going to be around to help your patients.
Which I admit, I was worried about him more than I was her for like a few episodes. Like,
oh, for sure.
Like, I was really worried.
That nerve thing, like.
Yeah, I thought he's a bad dude, but like he's I don't think he is. And I actually really I was worried that there would be more conflict with him and Dr. Charles. I don't think I think it's slowly turned into a very good relationship and a mentoree type relationship here. And I'm really excited for that because I think I like him a lot. I mean, I really
Yeah,
wasn't sure, but I think he's a really good addition to the
I like
team.
him and Hannah.
I love it.
Mm,
And I mean, don't get me
I'm
wrong.
still rooting for my Sean, but
I mean, I was, but I think I'm more rooting for. I think now I'm more rooting for Dr. Ripley, but we
yeah.
still love Sean, so keep him on here as much as possible. Like, I love that, but
And I will say that what I really appreciated, because I think showing how he was going off the rails with his patients, it was leading up to that last episode we got, the
Mhm.
mid-season finale, where that's when his friend came in and called him Rip. I will
Yeah.
only see Rip, which was awful. But when he confronted Dr. Charles and he said, I'm just gonna be fired, and then Dr. Charles was like, no, I'm not gonna report you. And you had this moment of realization that, but you're not. So I think he's been running this entire season so far, the first 6 episodes. He's been running off the idea that Dr. Charles is still holding his youth against
Mhm.
him. Dr.
Yeah.
Charles is still watching him and waiting for him to be that person. So he's holding himself so tightly knit and so
Yeah.
bound that he just exploded. But I think
Yeah.
hearing what Dr. Charles said to him in the last episode, I think we're going to see a shift now in Dr.
I think
Ripley
so. Yeah, I think so. And I
because
think
he has walked a very fine, scary line.
he definitely has. And I mean, I think that's another reason I think Hannah will be good for him. I think
Mhm.
that because in the way that we talked about, I know we were rooting for Hannah and Sean. Maybe it may have just been us two here at Fandom Family Chat,
Well,
so no one else in the
yeah, I
world. I
wanted
don't
it.
know. But where we were worried that they would be toxic being addicts together, I think I want to call him Ripley and Hannah, um, even though he's broken in different ways than like,
Yep.
so I think that they can help keep each other on track with things.
Hmm.
It's not the same trouble that they're struggling with.
Yeah. And she has gathered tools, and because of her addiction, she's gathered
Mhm.
tools and resources to help her keep herself in check, which is something he needs. The
Yes.
one I was so sad on the episode with the lobotomy patient. That was awful.
I
But what Rip
cried.
said was he was just like me, and they tried to fix him with this. Like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Well, that's sad because that happened. Like
He
they really
did.
used to do this to people to think that that would be the solution. And I try not to judge because I know that medicine has come a long way and like the knowledge that was, I mean, I don't know, but my goodness, like,
But lobotomies were largely experimental. They didn't really have proof that it did everything. It started as experimental things. And that's a pretty huge, it started in like these
yeah,
awful orphanages
yeah,
that would medically experiment on kids who had nobody. So it was never really, it was never really solid in the medical community that lobotomies did something.
yeah.
It was always
It's
divided.
oof, sad,
So it's
really, really
awful,
sad.
awful.
Yeah.
And I think that we see, I really, really, another relationship I want to hit on that I like before we move on is Maggie and that, what's that doctor's name? I
Oh,
need to look this stuff
yes.
up.
I mean, Ben, who at this point? Like, get out of here.
Oh, there he's Dr. Johnson. Woo,
Yes,
Henderson
okay.
Wade. Woo, he's pretty.
He is very pretty.
He's
I like him a
so
lot.
pretty. So I think the relationship with Maggie and Dr. Johnson, that's what his name is, right?
Mhm. Yes.
I think that is going to be so good. And just the type of man, like I liked Ben, but he ruined it at the end. And I gather
I
he
did
wanted
like
to
him
get
at
off the
first.
show, and that's why they
Mhm.
destroyed him,
Yeah.
which just seems to be that's kind of Med's MO. It's weird
How
that
do
they
we
don't
do
do that
that?
with Med or with Fire or PD, but on Med, they seem to destroy you if you want out of the show. Like
Yeah.
absolutely annihilate you.
Well, I don't know. They do it on PD. They did it to poor Jay. I mean,
Yeah, but not in the same way. Not
I
as
don't
bad.
know. I don't know.
They at least sent
They
Jay
did it
off
pretty
on
bad.
something noble. So yeah, it was bad. It was awful, but it's not in the same way they destroyed Ben.
I
Not in the
could
same way
guess.
they destroyed that woman who committed suicide. That one doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Well, no, I mean, that's kind of the worst. Yeah.
Med annihilates people, and
Yeah. You're not
so
coming back.
I
Yeah.
really, really like this new relationship with Maggie and him. I
Me
think
too.
he's gonna make her feel about herself the way she needs to, and even his relationship with Crockett is
Well,
fun. I love them
when
operating over
they,
someone talking about the food.
the banter of the, what was it? Was barbecue
Yep.
versus like the
Crawf-
like shrimp broil or whatever.
yeah, crawfish broil, I
You're,
think.
you're over here. I'm like, but that's because like here in Kentucky, I'm like, give me some barbecue, please. I mean, a crawfish broil. I don't really like seafood, so but it's okay. We have one other relationship though that we're excited that I'm excited about. Sharon's got her a new man.
Yes, I like
And
that.
I like him so much. I was so excited to see that because remember, I felt like there was flirting with that one board member
Mhm.
last year, and I just wasn't
There
feeling
wasn't
it. It
just
wasn't there.
chemistry.
But now there's chemistry with this.
Mhm.
It's the, what does he do? Is he the
He works in
what department?
surgery or something, doesn't he?
Yeah, but what department? I feel like there's a certain, oh well, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter. But either
So
way.
here's the thing. We watched these, but we watched them a while ago.
And we watch so much stuff. Like, just forgive us, okay? And we're moms, and we got everything else in the world happening.
And we
Like,
have other, you guys may, we put this
we each have
podcast out for a week, but
jobs.
we have other jobs
Yes, we actually
that,
do.
that are 40 plus hours a week. So
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
we
So
just
we're
do this
busy.
because we like it.
Forgive us. You know who
But
we're talking about.
I loved what he said. She apologized to him for the like that how awkward was it when her ex-husband was there and she was walking in the
That
elevator with
was
him and he came
awkward
out.
though. Yeah.
But they went to apologize and he said, "It's my fault. I do come down there hoping to catch a glimpse of you occasionally and make some other excuse."
So cute. I know. I was like, she deserves this so much.
I feel like Sharon was married when we first started the show, but we never really saw her with him.
Well, no, because there was, I think he started, like, there was problems almost immediately in the show,
Mhm.
like, with them. So,
And she would talk about him, but he was never there. So we
Mhm.
never. It to me, it feels like Sharon has been alone the entire 9 years so far.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Sharon's kind of amazing, so she should
Yes.
have somebody.
Agreed.
Just like Maggie. It took Maggie forever to find somebody, and then it was Ben.
Ben, get out of here.
It's like Dane in Fourth Wing.
Well, we'll talk about that. You know, I can forgive Dane. I don't know why,
I
but
can't. But I agree. I think that this has been much more fun to watch. They brought a balance back between character, relationships, and patience. So we've seen a drastic cut in the amount of
Mhm.
patience that we have,
Yep.
but it's not so much that we lose interest in it. It's
Mhm.
just enough because the other thing is that, like with Sharon, her husband was one of the patients, so we still got the relationship within the patients, and I find that they're
Yeah.
doing that. And with Rip and that lobotomy patient, he connected with that patient, so we still get the personal
Mhm.
with the patient. That's how they used to structure the
Yep.
show, and I'm
Yep.
glad to see it back.
Same. Same.
So, what do we want to see on the show before the end of the season?
I mean, really, just more of what we're doing. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm
I don't
actually
have any
really,
complaints.
no, I'm really happy with where we are right now. Like, just keep it up. Like, I'm good.
I feel like I want you guys to document and notice that I said I have no complaints.
That never
I
happens,
just would like you to hear that, fandom.
right? I'm over here trying to think of one just to like balance things out, but I don't have
Oh, I do
anything.
have one.
Okay.
Why is Cuevas just in one episode? Why?
Yeah.
She is fun. She's a good character. Dr. Charles cannot do this entire department by himself.
Yeah.
I don't want to just know she's somewhere there in the hospital. You introduced us to her, you got us connected to her, and then you made her disappear except for one time.
Yeah. Because I mean, no offense, I can live without the others because I don't think they made us connect to any of the
No.
others. Although,
Tanaka, I don't care about.
yeah, the other little guy, I kind of like him. The one that works in the ER, like he's kind of
Occasionally, yeah.
cute. Yeah, he's kind of cute. So I don't mind like him being around here and there. But
I
yeah,
do.
no.
I did refer because Nora likes to watch this with me, so I told her that Tanaka was the farting doctor, and now she loves him.
I mean, I honestly, I don't know. That's so weird. I wish they hadn't done that because that's
I
all I think
know.
of when I think of him. Like, that was the dumbest storyline in the
That's how I get
world.
my 5-year-old to watch it with me. Is I tell her the farting doctor is on.
Because he had, I mean, we could have done something better, but that's okay.
So much better. Like I get that they were looking for something weird, but like, why did it have to be that?
Maybe we're the weirdos that we've already talked about this. We don't think that's funny, really. So,
No.
like, you know,
I do think though that they listened to us from our last podcast season because
I
Dr.
mean, I
Cuevas
do.
did appear
Uh-huh.
and our regulars did appear, and this was our complaint last year. So I think this one we can say they
Someone
listened
listened
to our
to him.
podcast last year.
Maybe Luigi listened and he passed the word along. These
Yeah.
girls know what they're talking about. They've got some good
Thank you,
advice.
Luigi. We love you so much.
So much.
You're such a gem.
Right?
So I think that's my only complaint. Just don't bring characters on just to make them disappear. Obviously, the patients you have to do that with. But if you're going to introduce us to real, legitimate hospital staff,
Mhm.
don't toy with us. Either bring them in or get rid of them. But
Okay, I
don't
got
keep
one
doing the back and forth nonsense.
same kind of thing. One tiny complaint. We gave Dr. Charles this amazing relationship, and now we haven't seen her yet. She's gone. Do we even know they're still together? Can we at least like
No,
make a mention so that we know, like, oh, I had, dinner with so and so. Like, I mean, can we just mention it so at least I know that like you're still happily ever after? Like,
please.
there's my one complaint.
Yes, I forgot that I had that complaint, but that was what we talked about on the premiere. We were mad about that on the premiere.
Yeah. And
I have not
let's
fixed it
see.
yet.
what do I want to see? One more thing. You were talking about like we talked about Luigi. So let's find a way to keep Sean in the mix.
Let's find a way to keep Sean off of drugs, though,
Yes.
because that last episode has me concerned.
I don't think so. I think he's in a good place. And oh, you know
No,
what?
because the guy died.
Well, I know, but I think like the way she was, the lady that worked there, like at least acknowledging the good that he was doing, I'm hoping is enough to keep him on the right track. And I do want to mention, I kind of liked her. I kind of felt a
I
spark between her
know.
and Dean. So maybe
Yes.
that can connect a little more because I never wanted Dean to be with Hannah, but I would like Dean to find someone.
In
Like
fact, we were a little panicked at how close Dean and Hannah were getting.
I did not
last
like it
year.
at all. So I kind of like the idea that Dean had some chemistry with this lady.
Mhm.
So maybe this is what we just need to put all of our hopes out here in the universe and then they happen. So we need to make sure we keep voicing these things.
Yes, I can do that. We can do
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Okay, so I think I have all the same things. I want to know Dr. Charles's relationship, although I must say, I watched at the end of our Chicago season, at the end of our regular season last year, I went right into binge watching The Bear with my husband. So
Oh,
watching Dr. Charles go from
I
that.
love him on there as
Me too. But there's such polar opposites. So if you're looking for another Oliver Platt show to watch, The Bear should be fine enough to watch on its own. That should be enough reason
oh
because
for
it's
sure.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
But Oliver Platt is on there too, playing a completely opposite character to Dr.
Oh,
Charles.
so different. I love it. I love it.
So I think that's just seeing Dr. Charles's relationship. I would like to see each of them. I don't even want to see them in a relationship. I don't mean to clap in the microphone. I don't want to see them like in a relationship. I want to see them build up to the relationship. I don't want to
Yeah.
miss that. I don't want you to just cut out all the good stuff and then be like, "Hey, we're together now." I like the build.
Well, yeah, I mean, we want to see the tension, like what's happening with Ripley and Hannah. I want to
Yep.
feel that tension. I want to feel like Zola and Crockett getting closer together. Like, I want to feel. I love a slow burn. Like,
Yes.
make it last for me, because then I get uninterested a lot of times after it happens. If I'm
Mhm.
being honest with you.
Yeah. We had that with I want to say his real name, Brian T. What was his
Oh, Ethan,
Ethan?
Dr. Cho, yeah,
Yeah. Even
Choi,
his
Cho,
relationship.
yeah,
Even his relationship. It was not finalized until the day he left the show. Now, I'm not advocating for that,
yeah.
but that was a fun relationship to watch them dig
Mhm.
into and separate and dig into. It was
Yeah.
good that way. So
Well, I
that's
mean,
what I want to see.
same with Natalie and Will. I mean, we brought like the joy that brought me. I know it didn't bring you, but I'd say it brought a lot of people joy to see him go and be with her, like after we had rooted for them for so long.
No, I
So,
think that's where he needs to be. I just didn't like
yeah,
her character.
well,
I think that's who he needed to be with, though.
yes,
She was
yeah.
too self-righteous. I didn't like it. I didn't. I should be. It's worth noting that I didn't like Will at first either.
Which
I
that's
was
upsetting.
confused why you liked him so much at first when I first started watching it, and then you told me to keep watching because he got better, and he did. But honestly, now I am remembering though, I had the same complaint against him that I had about Dr. Ahmad.
Yeah, I mean, they're the same character. I mean, they really are.
So see, it's not just because she's a woman and I give more
You
grace
are
to men.
harder on women, though.
No, it's because
A little
it's the
bit.
same thing I said about Stella. Dick Wolf and the world at large seems to think that in order to be a female in charge
Mhm.
and a female who is in leadership, you have to be an a-hole. And
I
it's
agree with that.
just not necessary.
Hmm.
That's
I
why I
agree.
am harder on the female characters because that's how they write them. They write them
Yeah.
to be a-holes. You don't have to be a woman. You can be a badass female leader without being a jerk to everybody. And I wish that they would write women better. It's not the actress's fault. It's the way they write women leaders. It's just no.
I agree with that.
All right, so let's jump into fire.
Okay.
I miss saying that. Jump into fire.
I know.
Oh, feels like it's been a year. It actually has been almost a year.
So long. Yeah.
I like this. And Kelly Severide, well done, my guy. Well done.
Look, I don't know what Taylor did to get himself feeling
Worth it.
good. I've never liked Kelly Severide so much on this show. We know if you go back and listen, I'm not disliked him, but he's not been that guy. I'm not attracted to him. I'm not one of these girls that swoon over Severide. I never have been. I've been swooning pretty hard, if I'm being honest with you. Swooning pretty hard. Like something, he's just got this something about him. Like he's
swagger. He's got swagger.
He's got something back, and I am really into it. And I think it's because he belongs in this fire investigation world.
Yep.
it gives him this like confidence that's just different somehow. And I'm glad that we're allowing that to progress.
Mhm. And I think for Taylor Kinney too, by the before he took his break, he just even when we met him, he just looked so exhausted
Tired,
all
yeah.
the time. And I think that this is going to give the actor a much needed balance of doing the fire, still being on the show, but not
Mhm.
having to go so hard. Although, especially because like in Squad, you have to it's much more elevated scenes.
Yes.
The rigor is much more intense because that's what a squad team does. They
Yeah.
do the extreme rescues, and he was in every single episode and every single rescue, and I imagine that was just exhausting after 8 years. So I'm not swooning over Taylor Kinney right now, but I think because I don't think I have any I don't think I swoon over them, but I do think he looks so good. And
Mhm.
his even the tone of his voice is the way it used to be when they first started.
Yes.
And I love the
It's
sound
all
of
back.
that's something I love about Taylor Kinney, and I have since like the Vampire Diaries. The sound of his voice. I love that gravelly voice. It's so cool to me. I don't
I
know
do
why.
love his voice. I have always loved his voice for sure. For sure.
And again, like it's the way they wrote Stella in a couple of scenes when she's like, it brought me right back to where he didn't talk to me again. Like
Mhm.
sometimes when she said that, I was like, dude, really, like I get why, but I think my irritation is
Yeah.
not so much with Stella, but it's that situation was such a dumb way to write it
Mhm.
that it's the situation that I think is stupid.
Yeah.
And because I think the situation is stupid, her reaction seems like an overreaction. Like,
I can see that. I can see that. I
and
mean,
I know that they were trying to find a way, but I think it was a flimsy, weak excuse to say, well, he was just away because he got too involved in this event. No, that's dumb.
yeah.
It was dumb. And so now I don't want it to be ruined because that's where he belongs. And I think he's so good at it.
Mhm.
I don't want them to keep going back to Stella going, I don't know if we're going to make it through it. Yes, you will. We know your end game. So
Yeah.
stop bringing it back there.
Which I'm hoping the most recent episode
Mm-hmm.
confirmed that. And hopefully it's
Yes.
dropped now and he's allowed to just do this as he needs to. I
Agreed.
hope like it needs to be over. Like we've had that conflict. It's been solved. Let's move on. You know?
And I love what he said because when he was talking with Matt and he said, I get too in it and sometimes people think I'm going to turn into Benny. And then he looked at Stella and said, you are my home. I will
Yeah.
always return home. Like, I just think she
I
needed to
know.
hear it verbalized. Because I think Severide is the character who just kind of expects people to know him. He just
Mhm.
expects, well, of course I'm going to do that. Why would I do anything else?
Yeah.
But people need to hear it, Severide. And I think Stella was really desperate to hear it.
Mhm.
Speaking of Matt,
Oh,
he wasn't my favorite character. I like Matt, but he wasn't my favorite character on the show because
that's
we all
one of
know my
them.
heart lies with Christopher Herman.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that wedding was so beautiful. And I am so glad that they made it at a fish store because I was getting confused about how Tony had so many good top tier connections. That made sense. How it played out
Yes.
made more
Yes.
sense than what was happening.
And I loved so much how like I mean Sylvia was so stressed, but I mean Matt just he was like he's like I don't really care
Yep.
like where we're doing this. Like that's not the important part. And although it ended up looking beautiful, like
So
they
good.
like well done Violet, I guess, for like coming through, or I guess all of them had to like they made it look
Actually,
nice.
Ritter and Herman, or Ritter and Mouch are the ones who asked for the
That's
flowers.
true. That's true. Yeah. So it ended
Also,
up
did you notice that Violet had like a leafy vine going down on her bridesmaid dress, and then Brett had the leafy vine
oh
for
I
the off the shoulder?
didn't.
I thought that was such a sweet, beautiful personal touch that they both had. They were both sort of matching the same
Yeah.
theme. I I'm a wedding planner, so I love anything wedding, and this was just the look of it was so beautiful. And I did love in the back where like, wow, you changed it to make it look so beautiful. And Tony was like, I don't know why they had to change it. It was pretty great already.
Oh no, he loved his little fish store.
I
So
love
funny.
Tony and Cap. Oh, why, Brett? Why did you have Tony and Cap watch your baby? What part of you thought that was a
There's
smart
no
idea?
I got so nervous on that episode because I'm like, I like of all the people, like I understand that they're grown men, but like still,
Your chief was there. He's had kids. Ask
right?
Conan
That's
to
dumb.
watch them.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
putting cribbing around the baby. Oh my gosh.
Who was it that came in and was like, don't you think that
Violet
that fell
Ritter.
on them? Yeah. who don't have children,
No,
but
but
still have the common sense and are
Cap and
much
Tony are
younger.
like, "Do you want to watch her?" She's like, "No, I hate kids."
I love it. Violet, though, let's talk about that new because we're all, I mean, again, relationships. We were wanting some like
Mhm.
new things happening. I sort of love where
Sort
this
of.
is going. Yes,
I really love it. Carter or Carver? I always want to call
Carver.
Carter. Carver is like he rose so high for me. I love it when she looked at him and said, "Remember when we
Ultra.
talked about going slow?" And he was like, "Well, no, you did. I didn't." Like,
Yeah.
yes, fight for her.
I knew in my gut I was justified in like him being the good one.
Mhm.
So I'm
We all agreed
excited.
with you by the end of the season.
Yeah,
I just needed to see it.
yeah, he's a good dude. And they're a good match. And I now like you can never do anything to him though. Because
Nope.
that's her fear, like you really can just never
Can
let
you
it happen.
imagine?
Like it would break her beyond like I don't think she would ever recover from it. And so I don't think they'll do it. So it kind of makes me think Carver's good to go because I don't think you would make that her like major fear and then that
Yeah.
would be like ultra cruel and I don't think
Hmm.
we're going to do that to her. That's too far, I think. So he's probably good.
Especially since Casey and Brett are now gone.
Yeah.
Stella and Severide are still together, still solid, but
But
we aren't
they're
seeing as much of them together.
yeah.
So I feel like Violet and Carver are now stepping into that position of our lead
Yes.
relationship.
Yes. Yes. I think they have to be because there's no one else.
What is
I
the
mean
new
I
guy's name? Because I don't even think there is anybody for him at the firehouse.
well there's no there is because there's
Oh, that's
Kylie,
right.
Kylie and him had a little like flirt before he joined the
Oh,
firehouse.
womp womp.
But I also don't know
Not
how
even just before, while she was there. Remember, he helped her with the
yeah.
paperwork.
But like how are we gonna get her back in the firehouse? I feel like that's what we're leading up to, but like there's no positions.
And Gibson is the other new guy. I think Kylie is going to come back in. There has to be some rearranging because Mount, as much as it pains me, Mouch and Herman are talking a lot about retirement right now.
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
lot.
But Casey like reassured Mouch that he still got more in him. For a split second, I thought, could Mouch move to paramedic because he did all that
He
paramedicine?
could.
If that the new chief wasn't such a you know what, like
Again, another female on
I
fire who
know.
is just like almost all of their female leads on
Yeah,
fire are a-holes.
yeah,
Why?
agreed.
You don't have to be an awful human being to be a female in leadership.
Yeah,
Can we do better, please?
you would think.
I've been a leader in almost every job I've worked at, and I'm not like that. And
No,
I don't think women are like that. Not in the real, I mean, yes,
no,
there are some, but then show some of the dudes that are a-holes.
yeah,
Bowden's
exactly.
phenomenal. Why is it only the women who get the bad rap as leaders?
I know.
If you're gonna write women bad leaders, write men that way too.
Yeah, because I don't want to see that. I feel like we've done that storyline where we've
Yes.
had
Over and over and over.
why, why,
Because it was is it Evan or Ethan?
Evan?
Evan. The one who got him was also another crazy female.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, come on. Even the one that Stella went to for help, she didn't turn out to be very nice either. She
nope.
turned out to be a jerk. Why? Let's be better, write something different for these women. My goodness. But I
Yeah.
think because Herman has, of course, Herman's using it as an excuse to get what he wants, but he keeps talking about his ears. But Mouch is genuinely saying, I'm working towards my retirement. He said that in the last one, that
Yeah,
he's staying in shape so he can work towards his retirement. And as much as we want them to stay, that's a real thing.
it
What
is.
I would like, I don't want to see them killed off. I don't even want to see them retire off into the sunset. I want to see them go to Molly's bar and run
Yeah,
Molly's
just
bar and have them go in there.
yes. We
That's
can
what I
still
would
see
like.
them every episode, you know? Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, I agree
And
with
so I
that.
think there will be space for Kylie that way. But I do like the paramedic angle because that's less labor intensive than a fireman.
Hmm. And Violet needs a new person. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. Because I haven't heard any rumors of anyone else joining. Like, a lot of times we get, like, kind of so and so is joining, like, Fire. I haven't heard anything yet. That
Mhm.
doesn't mean it's not happening. But like even Rome Flynn, like we had like and the guy
Yeah.
that plays Ripley on Med, like we heard like these people are joining.
Yeah.
So like I haven't heard any
Of
news
course,
about a
on
new fireman.
fire, we don't like when we get floaters in, we don't have any indication that they're coming in and they'll stay for a couple episodes, but that's just
But we're
because
gonna
they're a
need a
floater, they're
permanent
not permanent
person. Yeah,
cast.
yeah. So that would be an option that he could like
I think I
working
like that idea. I think that's the way that they'll make it work because we already have Kylie.
because he's got to have some kind of training to have done that paramedicine with like
Mhm.
that is what it's called, right? I'm not confusing my
It's
shows.
no, it's paramedicine.
Sorry, they do this on all the different fire shows, and so I'm just making sure that I'm like calling it what it's supposed to be. Yeah. So we'll
I
see.
like
I mean,
that.
I don't know. I think that there we'll put that out in the universe. I think Mal should join Violet on the
Hmm.
Ambo, and then Kylie can be on Chuck.
Agreed. I think that would be a fun thing. And I think my only complaint about Fire is that at the wedding, I really thought we were going to see Donna and Bowden's son. Like, is
Yeah.
she ever even going to make a guest appearance again? He doesn't even
Well,
talk about them. I don't even think he
unless
has
she,
pictures.
because I don't even know what I don't even know what her name is. I want to call her Melissa. That's clearly not her name.
No, it is Melissa.
In real
Oh,
life, it's Melissa.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking Melissa McCall. So is her real name also Melissa?
Hmm.
Okay. Well, good. Then I had it
I'm gonna let me double check that before you keep talking, but I'm fairly certain it is
because I'm
Melissa.
just thinking Melissa McCall, and I'm like, I just for a while there, she was doing a podcast, which I mean, maybe that's still happening.
Yeah,
Like,
but you can make a guest appearance while you're doing a podcast.
yeah, because it is also one of those like weekly like
Melissa
episodes.
Ponto, isn't it?
Okay, cool.
Ponzio. Melissa
I had
Ponzio.
it right. It was Melissa. Awesome. So I don't know, but it would be nice to see them pop up every once in a while. I mean, like, I don't know. We saw Trudy in the background, which I know she's on the
At
other
the
show
wedding.
too. Saw Sydney like pop up a little,
Yep.
didn't we, at the wedding? Like,
Well, even Trudy, I didn't really see much of her on PD.
nope. That's my complaint about PD when we get there. There hasn't been any Trudy really, other than one episode.
I did like when Trudy was like, "Hold this, I want to dance," and she handed the baby to somebody.
Did you hear
Hold
to the who she
this.
to
She had it
Violet or
to Cruz, I
somebody,
think.
right? Or somebody that
It
didn't
was
want it.
Cruz, I think, wasn't it?
Okay, maybe. I don't know.
Hold this.
Mhm. So funny. I would love to see her actually interact with the baby, like Trudy with the baby, like
Hmm.
because we know she's good with kids, even though she's got
She
that rough
is.
exterior, you know?
And I love Trudy so much, and I find that I miss her.
Yes,
And
agreed.
I do miss seeing.
Well, you know who else wasn't there? I don't think Chloe was there either. Like I don't think the other wives were there either. Joe's wife?
Oh, that's right.
I don't think she was there. The
Javi
boys were
wasn't there
there.
either.
Yeah, I think we saw Javi, or if we seen Javi in one episode, because I was like, oh my God, Javi's so
Okay,
big.
who is that girl that Brett was talking about, Casey, when he held her? Amelia? What was
Her
her
little
name?
sister. Do you remember her birth mom had a baby?
Oh,
Took
no,
me
I
a
didn't
minute.
remember that, but
It took me a
okay.
minute. Yeah.
I was so confused. Like,
Yeah.
why does it matter if you hold some random person's kid? Why is that a big deal to you?
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Okay.
that's who it was.
Because the way they were sitting, I thought that they were saying that the boys that he is now fathering, that it was their, it seemed like it should have been their sister, but I knew it wasn't their sisters because it was just two boys.
I
So
think it's her
I was very
sister.
confused. Okay. All right. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
So I think that's really the only complaint I have.
Yeah, I don't really have any.
I like the way it's going. I like that we're focused on, I think some of the cases are a little, really.
I mean,
But
obviously, I complained that like Sylvie had to leave and that Matt couldn't come back to
no,
have like, but it is what it is. Like,
I'm okay with that because I think that's who they needed to be
I
with.
know. Well, I agree, but I mean, like, I'm just saying, if I could have written it, I would have rather them just been in the Chicago world instead.
Oh, yeah.
But like, I get it. Like, I'm not. It's not like a big
Hmm.
complaint. It's like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah. I think, oh, the other thing was with Gibson. I had sent, why are all the new people jerks right away? Because on Fire, see now on Men, like they do that weird thing, but on Fire, every time a new person comes on, with the exception of Gallo, they've all been jerks at first when they come on.
Yeah.
Like when Gibson went in Carver's face, was like, mind your business, stay out of mine, don't ask me questions. Like, dude, you're
Yeah.
in a what do you think a firehouse is, man?
You know, though, I want to talk about that moment because I want to give props to Carver for
Mhm.
great character development and that he
Yes.
just handled that like, okay, man.
That's why I like him so much
I
this
was
season
like, oh
because
my
he has
gosh.
become someone who is really able to function in his
Mhm.
emotions instead of being destructive in them.
Yeah, no, it was really good. I was proud of that.
Granted, Gibson did turn it around, but like he seemed semi-normal until that episode. I was like, what has happened to you? Why are you all of a sudden this way? And I
Yeah.
was irritated. But within the same episode, he was like, I'm sorry. So
Yeah.
he redeemed himself within the episode. And I
Yeah.
hope that they continue
I
on an
think that'll be
upward
it.
spike rather than
Yeah, we always have to make their backstory mysterious for a minute, and then like it's fine.
which is fine. But do you have to make them all jerks? Gallows
No,
was mysterious, but he wasn't a jerk.
no, my
Why
sweet
can't they
little
all be
cinnamon.
Gallo?
I miss him. I do miss him. Maybe that's a complaint. I miss
Yes.
Gallo. I miss him a lot. I didn't realize I would, but I do.
Alberto, come back.
Like, no, please. I
Because
miss him.
the other thing about him too was he was so good with sarcastic humor.
Yeah.
And he was very good comedic timing, but it wasn't all funny. He's also very good at drama. So
Mhm.
that character, we need someone. If you're going to replace him, don't replace him with heavy Gibson. You need to replace him with someone who can do the balance well. Because
Yeah.
Fire's already so heavy all the time. We want that lightness.
Well, then maybe if we don't get Mount on Ambo, maybe our new Ambo person can be a new Gallo S.
Maybe. I mean, I'd
But
be
I
okay
need
with
it to
that.
probably be, I don't know. I
But
think I need
then,
it. I can't mess with Violet and Carver because I'm
no.
really enjoying that dynamic.
And
So
if they're gonna do, I mean, it doesn't even have to be a guy. It can be a girl as long as they
yeah,
have Gallows
yeah,
personality.
yeah.
But my only issue there is, okay, if you're gonna put someone new on Ambo, then get rid of Kylie. Stop putting her back in there like she's gonna
Yeah.
come back, but she's not gonna come back because I don't
Because
want to get invested
honestly,
in it.
I'm not at this. This might be me. I don't care about Kylie. I don't think they've ever made us like. I'm happy for her
Mm-hmm.
progression. I'm happy that she came where she did, and but like they've never given her anything for me to like be drawn to her as a character.
Yeah.
So they would have to do some work there, I think, to
Mm-hmm.
make her a full-time character and make
Yep.
me care about it.
Because I think
Um,
so far all we
yeah,
have with her is she's very good at her job.
yes,
That's it. That's all we got. We were supposed to be connected to her because Stella worked with her, but we didn't really see a whole lot of that. We saw that she was in the program. We saw she did well in the program. We saw her graduate from the program.
yeah. I
That's
feel like
what
we
we saw.
saw other girls in the Girls on
Hmm.
Fire that had a more compelling backstory that we felt
Yeah.
closer to from time to time.
And I don't even need a compelling backstory. I just need her to have something other than I'm really good at my job.
I mean, she feels like a side character, so you're
Yeah,
gonna have to work to make her not feel like a side
exactly.
character.
Exactly.
I mean, she feels like a Tony and a Cap, which not to say I don't love Tony and Cap,
Hmm.
but I don't feel the same about them as I do, say, Mouch or Herman or any,
Yeah.
like if they're missing for an episode, like I might miss a little of the funny, but
Hmm.
it's not the same.
Yeah. And
Like
see,
if,
they balanced
oh,
Tony and Cap though as side characters because they made them really funny. So
right.
that we are pulled there
They
when
gave
they
them
are
their
there.
thing.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes.
With Kylie,
I
they didn't
agree.
give us anything. She's a side character, but they didn't give us anything to be pulled to her when she's on scene.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
I think those are the only things, my complaints, and what I would like to see. I think that covers it.
Um, one other thing I'd like to see.
What?
Ritter has never had him a boyfriend, not a real, like,
He
he had
did
a
in the
little
beginning, right?
tiny, but it was something we really didn't see much. And Ritter is one of my favorite characters
I love
anymore.
her
He deserves love, and I want to find it for him.
because I think it was just
So maybe
I.
maybe the new Ambo person, we need it to be somebody for Ritter.
There you go.
That's what I need, I think. I
No
don't know.
competition for Violet then.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it just be, and she could play matchmaker. She could make that all happen too,
Matchmaker,
like,
matchmaker, make
because I
me
feel
a
like you have
match.
to have their relationships have to be within the firehouse, or it just doesn't. I mean,
I agree
I
because
know
then you
we've
don't
got a
see them.
few. We've got like Trudy, and we've got some of these other ones, but like,
But even with Cindy, like I love Cindy Herman.
yeah,
I think I love her so much because obviously I relate to her on multiple levels, but I love her so much because I love what she does for Chris.
yes.
But
Even I
I
would say
don't
even
see her
before that,
ever.
I
So
know.
if you're going to give them a relationship that's going to be pivotal to the show, they need to be in the firehouse because
And
you
I
just
think
don't
that
see the others.
works for like the older couples
Mhm.
because like they're established in their relationship, so we
Yep.
don't need to see it in our face. For somebody like Ritter, I want to see it in my face. Like I
Hmm.
want to see that love building
Yeah.
so that we can, I don't know.
And even with when Mouch and Trudy first started, that was fun to watch
It
build.
was so fun. Yeah. Bowden, I think I would say Bowden and Donna when they first got together.
Hmm.
I enjoyed seeing them. Joe and Chloe. Like I want to see them again. If
I
you're not
keep
already
forgetting that.
established, I want to see them. Yeah.
Agreed. I agree. And
So
I think
there
they've
you go.
done a good job. This is another show that I don't think we had really many complaints after the premiere. I think
No,
I think they have a formula that works and they continue with it.
they do. Yeah. No, they're doing good.
So let's roll into PD.
Okay.
I tried to give different little jump into fire and roll into PD.
Works. Works.
I am so in love with this season so far.
So much. It's I feel like it's back. Like
Hmm.
the feeling that I felt,
Yep.
even go as far as I text you all the last episode, every single member of the intelligence unit was on scene together.
Yep.
And I was like, we
Mhm.
haven't seen this in so long. Everyone was there. And I was like, finally, we're all working on the case together.
Mhm.
It felt good. It felt really good.
Yeah. So good. And they're going back into, because we used to talk about last season how, okay, we got this person heavy storyline. Why aren't we jumping into this person then?
Yes.
And they did that the last 3 episodes. They did that.
Yeah.
But they also, within focusing on that, like, because it was Torres, which I love a Torres episode. That made me so happy to get a Torres episode.
That episode.
I
Look,
had to cover my children's eyes at one point.
I know that what happened at the end of that episode was wrong, but it was wrong in a way that made me feel kind of good.
It made me feel very uncomfortable.
And I don't know why. Maybe because I think he's leading man material.
He's very magnetic.
He is. And so if you give him the right kind of stories, you give him something where he can be hot and like he can have these relationships, it's going to transfer on screen really well. Granted, Kevin is too, and we've yet to use that, but it's fine. Like, I'm going to take what I can get. Okay, Torres, like, because I think we need somebody to be our new leading male. Because Adam is about to be wifed up, or Adam and I mean they're doing their thing.
Okay,
Like,
you can still be a leading male and be married.
no, I know, but I feel like it's a new, like, there won't
Okay,
be.
gotcha.
They're going to be settled. They're going to be the
Need a
Severide.
new romance.
Yeah, I mean, they're Severide and Stella. They're going to be settled in their family. We still want to see it. Don't get me wrong. Shower scene in the first episode of Fire, loved it. Like, I want to see those every once in a while, but like, it's different when you're like this established relationship. Like, I want to see the tension and the like building of stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm a romance girl, and I understand these aren't romance shows, but I like a little bit built in every once in a
But
while.
that's human nature to have we desire connection because we were created for connection. So it's when we see that we really connect with it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I know it was wrong, but one of those things where if like this is wrong, I don't want to be right kind of thing. Like, that's how I felt. That's how I felt.
And I know that last season we complained about that one case that kept coming up over and over and over and over again. And so Torres's episode was open-ended. Hank's episode was open-ended, which how fun was that Hank episode? I actually, while I was watching it, I kept saying, oh, he's going to put him in the cage. He's going to put him in the cage. He didn't, but he was still intimidating.
Having Hank back really felt good.
It's so good.
Felt good.
Yes.
And I will say though, these open-ended stories, for some reason, I'm not mad about them.
No.
I want to see more. Like, I'm interested in this story. So I'm not mad about it at all. Like, both of those stories have me waiting. Like, when are we going to revisit this?
And I think the reason we kept complaining about the other one was because one, it was so heavy and gross.
Yeah.
It was just so much. And to have that thrown in our face week after week was like, dude, I cannot continue watching this without absorbing some of it.
Yeah.
So for these, the storyline is just right for an open-ended one, but also it's not one that has to be like wham bam in your face every single episode either. And we also got a Kevin heavy episode. And the Kevin heavy, like, I agree. We didn't with about the relationship with Kevin. Why have we not gotten any? And that was our complaint last year. We had one that they imploded.
Yeah.
Kevin needs somebody. He is so lonely. He's got this building. He's got his dad that's out of prison. He's got his brother who's quasi talking to him. Give Kevin a real life personal partner. He needs somebody.
Yeah.
That's my complaint about that. Well, that and no Trudy. But that's one of my big complaints is that Kevin is the only one who doesn't get anybody ever. Why?
Get Kevin some action.
Well, that's not what I said.
That's what you said. That's what we heard. That's what I heard.
Kevin needs a girl. He needs a lady.
Yeah.
And I think that his dad even hit on, maybe they're leading that way. Because his dad said to him in his episode where he featured that he does this all the time and he tries to carry everybody's weight and fix everything for everybody. But that's because he's alone.
Yeah.
If he laid in bed for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours without sleeping, I guarantee you, if he had a wife or if he had somebody there with him, she would be able to comfort him. No, that's not what I'm saying. I meant emotionally comfort.
Oh.
And talk him through these things so he wouldn't be spinning out of control in his own head of all the things he should have done, could have done, would have done. He would have somebody there to speak sense to him. Be like, no, you're good, you're good, you're good. So I think that's one thing I want to see coming forward is I want to see Torres have an appropriate relationship, but I want to see Kevin have a relationship. and
Yeah.
not one that is gonna be there and gone the next minute.
Yeah. I agree.
I imagine it's hard for him to see Ruzek and Burgess. I mean, he's happy for his friends, but he's married. Haley just got divorced, but she's. Are we getting a new detective, by the way? Do we
I
know if
hope so.
Dante's
This
coming
is what
back or
I'm
no?
hoping that I'm hoping that we're gonna get a new detective.
Do you think new or do you think Dante's coming back? Not Dante. Dante is Dante Torres. I meant who
Oh,
did I mean?
Antonio.
Antonio.
I mean, I've not heard anything. I think
I don't.
his show ended. I think I'd rather see another woman in the
I
office.
agree.
I'm
I
not
agree.
even for like anything relationship wise. I mean, I
Just
think
to balance it.
Kim just needs another woman in the office too. Like, I
Mhm.
mean, all these men, you know. Um, yeah.
Yeah, 4-on-2 is a pretty.
Yeah. Especially when you're married to one of them, like, or you're gonna be, you know. So,
I
which can we
agree.
talk about how? Okay, I saw a lot of complaints on the internet about how that was just so lackluster, but I felt like
What was?
the proposal, like between the two of
I thought
them,
it was very Burgess
I
and
thought it was
Ruzek.
so. And Adam, it sounded like he was gonna plan something, but he
Mm-hmm.
realized in that moment that no, she needed this right now, and
Yeah.
so I don't know. Like, I think we've already said that I don't think they'll have. Now, I do want to see, I would say like a Sylvie type wedding to where it's still a big deal to her, but not like elaborate, just the people that she cares about, but she still gets to have her beautiful moment. Like, I think in the fish, not obviously not in the fish store, but that sort of something I think is what they'll need. Like, I don't think it needs to be elaborate, but I think she needs her moment though to dress up and look pretty and just be all these things. Plus, I need to see Adam in a tux.
Oh, definitely. And
Absolutely.
see Michaela walk down the aisle in a beautiful little dress to
Stop
hold
it.
hands with Kim and Adam as they're at the altar.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
need to see Michaela. Like, I want this day for Burgess and for Ruzek. I
I
keep
want it to be
every
a
time I
whole
say
episode.
Burgess, just so you know, I'm trying to say their ship name, but
Burzek.
I keep forgetting what it
Oh,
is.
Burzek.
Burzik. So I
Yeah,
keep saying Burgess and then I stop and think for a minute.
yeah. No, it's Burzek. I want
So
a whole episode, like, I mean, like where it is. I mean, obviously we'll all have something
yes,
going
it
on in
should
the
be.
background, but
Like Matt and Sylvie.
something tiny to where the focus is them. And I think it'll be probably the season finale. I hope we go ahead and wrap it up by the
I
season finale. I don't think we need a long, like anything. Like,
No. And I would appreciate it being in the season finale. I would like to see the
but
planning. I would like to see the care that goes into it.
the problem is with like in PD style, if it's
I know.
the season finale, something will go wrong. Will leave us with a cliffhanger.
But
of some-
maybe because we got such a shortened season, they're going to reward the fan base with,
I
okay,
hope
you know
so.
what? This was a hard year for everybody. We all need some light, so we're going to give it to you.
Yeah. Hopefully.
So while I think that this needs to be a big day for Burzek, I want to see Michaela be made a big deal about.
Yeah.
That sentence was wordly weirded. Nope.
Well,
Weirdly worded. God.
wordly weirded. No, we get what you mean. We get what you
But I think, how do I want to say that? I want to see Michaela. I want to see them make a big deal out of Michaela or
mean.
for
Yeah.
Michaela
I think
because
they
I think
should.
she needs it. I think it's as much for her being solidified into that family, into them as husband and wife, as it is for them to be husband and wife.
Well, and I mean, she is the reason, not to say, I mean, obviously they had something prior to Michaela, but she was somehow what made them realize that they are a family
Mm-hmm.
and that they belong
Yep.
together. And so, I
And it
mean,
will redeem so much because that was one of my big complaints last season was how Kim would pull Adam in when
uh-huh.
she wanted him and then shove him out when she didn't want him there. And
Yeah.
that felt so wrong and so mean. So to have Michaela be a big part of this
Yeah.
would redeem and settle it that no, we are equals in this. This is our daughter. And they've done a great job this year
Yeah.
of sharing the responsibility. But just to have that visual of it
Mhm.
would, I think, be good for Michaela. And I think it would be good for us.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I totally agree.
So I feel like I feel like we've gotten a lot of ensemble episodes, which I
We have.
think is what we have been desperately
Yes.
missing. We've seen a lot of people go off like even with I like Haley's character now. I didn't when she started, although I'm starting to like her a little less.
Kind of ready for her to move on. No
Yeah.
offense. I mean, I'm just kind of over it, I guess.
I didn't like the heavy focus, even the beginning of this year, I didn't like the heavy focus on
Yeah.
her relationship and how it altered her. What like they did it subtly with Hank. He's
Yeah.
alone, but the DA said something to him about it and they moved on.
Mhm.
You see him alone drinking coffee all night long when he let his team
Yeah.
go. That's how we saw Hank's loneliness.
Yeah.
Haley, it was just like bam, bam, bam in your face. I'm lonely, I'm lonely, I'm lonely, I'm lonely. We don't care about seeing it
Yeah.
that way. It's too much.
Yeah. I wonder what we're gonna do with her though, because I still, even though I'm ready for her to move on,
I want her
the
to go be with
character
Jay.
herself, I do too. I want her to be happy, and I really think that that's the way to make it happen. I mean, I
I
don't want her
agree.
to just, I mean, he's treated her pretty crappily. Like, so I mean, I
Mhm.
definitely want there, I don't want it to be like we just see her like she's just going and oh, I forgive you. Like,
Oh,
but I
no,
want to see her move to where we are led to believe that they're going to work on this and that
absolutely.
they will be happy together.
Even if he comes back just for the episode where she leaves and maybe we see him make it right.
Yeah.
Because I think Jesse, I don't think he's been like, I'm never coming back on. He even stayed to direct an
No.
episode. I
Yeah.
think he'd be amenable to coming back for an end of season appearance to make it right, like Matt Casey did.
Especially for a coworker that I'm sure he cares for and wants to give a good ending, like a good goodbye to,
Exactly.
yeah.
Don't make them obliterate her.
No, that's unnecessary.
Hmm.
That's unnecessary.
PD is
So
already so heavy. We don't need that heaviness, and that would break Hank. I don't
Hank
want to see him
cannot
broken
look,
again.
he can't lose anyone else. Like this poor boy
No.
that he's taken in, like nothing bad can happen to this kid because like Hank has already lost too much.
Hmm.
He won't survive. I mean, between Justin and then I mean he essentially lost Aaron, even though I know she
Yeah.
didn't. But I mean, it's not like they ever
And
talk about it.
Anna,
And Anna, I was going to say her too. So he needs. I'm not saying this kid has to become his, new
son.
child or whatever, but like he needs to solve this for him, and this kid needs to do
Hmm.
well. Although
Yeah.
I do think, because I want to make a break, just because I think this is an ongoing story.
Hmm. It is.
I I think it's this kid's family that has somehow orchestrated what happened.
I think it might. I think it might be a person in the family. I don't
Yeah,
think it's the whole family. And I just
maybe
want to
not.
say, I, I as I was watching it with Jay, I realized very quickly maybe my 5-year-old shouldn't be watching this. So I
Yeah,
had to make her go upstairs and watch something else because she loves PD. It's her favorite.
yeah.
And then that first scene where someone got like his tongue was cut out. It was the tour that was like,
Oops.
all right,
Yeah.
maybe just turn around, play on the switch and turn around. But I
Of all
think
your kids, though, that could handle this, I think Nora's the
probably
one.
her. Yeah.
Nora's the one.
But I was watching with my middle child, and I was actually saying, don't make it be the church people. Don't make it be the church people because a lot of these shows, okay, I'm a Christian, and a lot of these shows had the tendency to make church people be awful, hateful, bigoted, horrible people. And that is not the church. That is people who have gone astray within the church. And so it really
I
made me
agree.
sad that this is and I know that this does
I
happen.
really do think that's what it is, though.
There are people who are like that who think, I mean, you look at the what is it, the Baptist church, is it Brownsboro? Something
Oh,
like that. The
yeah.
awful, terrible, horrible things
Mhm.
and vile things that they say and protest and that they do, just it makes me sick to my stomach
Yes.
that they do those things. But they
Yes.
are not the church. They are their own thing. And so it always makes me sad when I'm watching a show and then I get to see church represented as something evil and awful and terrible. And that is just not what the church is. Those are
Yeah.
people who have gone astray, and those are people who have completely separated from the church and done their own wicked, evil thing.
Yeah.
Because God does not condone that. And I'm not making this a religious thing. I was
No,
just
I
very
agree.
sad to see this, like, oh man, not again.
I agree. I agree.
But I that was that storyline. Like even now, just thinking about it makes me like I'm tearing up a little bit. But
That poor kid. I mean, that is just
that
tragic.
that actor did that so well. When
Mhm.
he would sob and not look at Mm. When he would sob
Yeah.
and not look at Hank, it was so fit. Like I physically felt it. It was so awful what happened. Stapling his eye, That was one thing we were like,
I didn't know what was wrong.
I thought he cut his eyelids off.
I didn't know. I was what's like. I didn't know. Is he on drugs and he's just so? I don't know what's happening right now. Like I think I had to look it up. Look, I don't understand.
I
Because
did too. During the commercial
also
break, I was like, what happened to his eyes?
Shelby woke up while I was trying to watch it, so I had to go put her back to bed. So I had to wait till the next day.
Oh,
It was on
no.
Peacock to finish up, and I'm like in there googling. I don't even care if I get spoiled. I'm like, what was wrong with his eyes? Like I'm looking at all the message boards and the other groups. I'm like, somebody say something. I don't understand.
And nobody did.
Like everybody else, just like it wasn't. Maybe everyone was confused, and so no one said anything because we're all like, I don't know what's going on. We're just gonna pretend
My
it didn't
middle,
happen.
my middle child and I had the exact same reaction when he pulled up. We both went, what? What is that?
I know. I was like, what's wrong with him?
And I'm not laughing because it was funny. That is awful.
Imagine
It's
the
awful. That's
pain because
burned in my
imagine
brain.
how dry your. I mean, just imagine not even the stapling itself, but how dry your eyes would be from
Mhm.
not being able to blink.
Yes.
And it just like, oh,
And
it makes my stomach want to hurt thinking about it.
he was gone for how many days?
Oh my God, I don't know.
When did they staple them open? Because then he also hasn't slept.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It was at least 2 days, I think, wasn't it? Because Hank
I know
stayed
that
up all night.
stress. Sometimes PD takes it to a level that like stresses me out with
Ah,
stuff
no.
like that. I'm like, could we just have left that part out, please?
And that's why he bashed into him. Because he
Yeah.
couldn't, like, he couldn't anymore.
Yes. Ugh.
Awful. But that's a story we're gonna hear more of.
Yes.
Just like the drug deal. And I want to know who I'm confused who set him off, who tipped the guy off in Torres's episode. Was it the guy who got his tongue cut off that tipped him off? How would he know? Who tipped him off that cops were there, they were gonna be
That's a
there?
good point. I don't know. I don't know.
Because I think they thought that Eddie, or that was his name, I think, got caught. And so that's why cops were gonna be there, but who told them cops were gonna be there in the first place?
That I don't
Because
know.
Eddie did not know. He didn't know
No.
Torres was cop.
No, he
And
didn't.
clearly the guy didn't know Torres was cop because he would have killed Torres
Right.
immediately.
Right.
So those two
I don't know.
storylines are coming. So I don't think the only complaints I have is Kevin doesn't have a lady,
Yep.
and that Trudy, where is she?
Yes.
But
I
I
think
think
that's fine.
Petey has
Yep.
gone in just a straight upswing all season long, just up, 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 up.
Yep.
I love it.
Me too.
Do you have any
A's all
complaints?
around. Nope. Same ones you had. Just like I mean, I'd like to see more Trudy. I mean, that's my biggest. And like Kevin needs some action.
Mhm. So what we want to see is the wedding, the relationship with
Yes.
Kevin. And then I don't want these cases to carry on to next season. I want them to be
No,
solved
I
by the end
know.
of the season.
I want Hank's to end nicely because I don't want anything bad
Yes.
to happen. I don't want Hank to be sad. And I want Haley to get a good exit.
Yes. All agreed.
Quickly though. I mean, not to be mean, but I'm ready
And
to
a
move
new
on.
person. We want to see a new woman cop come on.
Yeah.
Who can handle her business, who is not going to be an a-hole.
No, because I think Kim is a good representation. I don't think I've ever there's been
Agreed.
times when Kim has disappointed me in the way she's handled situations, but I've never been like, oh, Kim.
But
Like
Kim's also not a lead detective. She's not the head.
no.
She's not
Okay,
a leader in there.
there's still one thing. I am gonna need Kevin, Adam, and Kim to all be detectives.
Haven't they earned it by now?
The thing
What
is,
they do is detective work.
they're gonna have to because unless they bring in another detective, we have no detectives when Haley leaves.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I want the person that they're bringing in to not be an a-hole. Because that's why I didn't like Haley at first, because that's what she was.
Bring another Aaron because I remember I really liked Aaron's character. I felt like she was a really good balance of
I
like
agree.
badass, but like not like she was fun and she was banter. Like another Aaron would be great.
She could separate her emotions from the job when she needed to. She was, and I think that's what we need. I think we need someone who's going to be mentally healthy enough to do this job.
Yes.
I think that's it. I think that's all. I think
That's it.
that's all that's necessary. I think. But
That's
good
it.
job, Chicago
Well
Universe.
done.
Good job. Well done.
Yeah.
I'm
Look at us
just.
being happy with
I
something.
know. It's because we
Not even in here.
appreciate when we are listened to. We
I
just
do.
demand
I
obedience.
like
That's
that.
all. We get obedience. That's the we're
Exactly.
happy as clam.
Yeah.
If only my kids could learn that same lesson that Dick Wolf has learned. I
My
mean,
husband too, you know, I'm just saying.
oh, good call. So I
saying.
think what's coming up next for you in Chicago is we're going to come back to you with the finale. So after the whole season has finished, we will not recap, but we're going to review the whole season, give you our honest opinion on it. Honestly, I think that it's going to be much the same as this one was. We had notes at the premiere, but they have covered every one of those notes, which it was just so bizarre how it happened on all three of these shows. Like,
I
they
know,
did
it's like-
exactly what we said we wanted to see.
Like, are you
I'm-
listening right now? What's going on?
Instead of our phones having like an Alexa, it's a Dick Wolf in there, and it just goes right back to it.
Right? There
That's
you
all
go.
it is. So I think this is going to be much the same. I believe at the end of the season, I think I'm going to be more in love with it then, because I think that the things we want to see are things they're going to accomplish in the season.
Yeah.
It just seems like the natural progression. What we have coming up for you next is we have opened up our fandom. If you are members of our Facebook groups, all the ones that say Family Fan Club, those are all getting shut down if they have not been shut down already by the time that you hear this podcast. We have a new group that's just for our podcast. It's called Fandom Family Chats. It's a group. We also have our page, so don't mistake those two. Our page is where we put out our podcast. It just gets linked there. But the group is where we're going to discuss things. The group is where we're going to put out anything that we want to talk about with shows, about fandoms. If you have a new fandom that you want us to dig into, let us know.
Mhm.
We are digging into some book fandoms right now. We've got the ACOTAR world, the Fourth Wing world. Those are all coming out at you. I'm sure that we're going to find more books to read. We're going to find more fandoms to do. So what we're doing with Fandom Family Chats, we are making this podcast truly a fandom podcast. It's whatever fandom we're into at the moment, or multiple fandoms, as you can clearly tell that we're into at any moment in time.
Yeah.
And we're going to discuss those and bring them to you. So catch those. The Way Home is not completely done yet. We've got about 2 more episodes coming out for you, because I believe there's going to be 4 more episodes. So watch those, stay tuned for those. Check out any of our socials, and you can email us with any fandom you want to us to look into, or again, look at our Facebook group, Fandom Family Chats on Facebook, and let us know there of some fandom that you found that you just fell in love with. And we'd be happy to take a look. We can't guarantee anything, but we'll look into it. On that note, we'll see you real soon. Bye, guys.
Bye. Loving our content? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to share our podcast with your family and friends. We want to continue the conversation with you. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok under Fandom Family Chats, or one of our ever-growing Facebook groups by searching Family Fan Club. We've also launched a website, Family Fan Club 2021 at Wixsite.com. You can email us there and keep checking it for announcements and merch coming soon. And of course, be sure to tune in every week for new episodes discussing all your favorite shows.